Hello everybody! My name is Kirklin, but you may also know me as Dino from PC2, and welcome to Ero for another race. Today we will be tackling China. The Shanghai International Circuit, made by Commentators, debuted in 2004, and it became the most expensive F1 circuit facility, costing $240 million, before Abu Dhabi took that place with $6 billion. Quite a big difference, I might add. The track has been dominated by Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton, with both taking 6 wins here. It also became the 1000th. That's a difficult word to say. The 1000th round in 2019. It's unimaginable to see that F1 has been here for a while now. The track is 5.4 kilometers long and features one of the most trickiest corner combinations on the Formula 1 calendar, comparable of that of Istanbul Spark Turn 8, also designed by Tilka. The track is made out of 16 corners. The worst corners on the track are probably turns 1 and 2, which are very demanding 270-degree right-hander corner combination that requires considerable speed, in addition to a significant radius increase as the corner progresses, and right after that turns 3 and 4. Turn 6 is a very difficult corner where you will most likely always gonna either miss the braking point or get the exit wrong. Turn 7 is almost flat out left-hand corner, immediately going into turn 8, and then you go into the difficult and slow part of turns 9 and 10, where it's very easy to lose the car if you're not careful. Going into turns 11, 12 and 13 will make another 270-degree corner, and a very difficult corner to master, as there is a lot of banking and elevation changes there, so getting early on the throttle may cause a crash. Going into the hairpin of turn 14, 15 is flat out, and the final corner of 16 is already a sort of which sort of has a auto spin curb, so be very careful how you approach it. It's beneficial if you can cut the corner, but you risk losing the car and most likely crashing, what happened to me yesterday. So it's best to take it safe, but really push the limits in qualifying especially. The ones to look out for today are, of course, the three currently leading the championship standings. Drake Dempsey, of course, taking 2 wins in Season 7. He is currently leading the championship with 42 points. Tuka Rakola is following him right behind, just 16 points difference, taking 2 podiums. Our debutant this season from Season 6, where he won in PC2. And Aryan Bilbas is also another debutant in PC1, just following them right behind. 13 points difference to Tuka, and 29 points difference to Drake Dempsey. So his season is currently going pretty okay so far, with 1 podium to his name. Today commentating with me is Adam Lepage. So we saw Drake Dempsey already taking 2 wins in a row in USA and Brazil, and we saw an amazing battle between the top 4 in Brazil, before Drake Dempsey lost them to take the win from last place. Can we expect to see another win from Drake today, or will we see someone else challenging for the win?
I mean, not taking Carnage into account, I think Drake's just got the pace on most people, really. Although we did see him running quite high downforce at Brazil last week, which, if he decides to do here again, is going to leave him pretty exposed into turn 14 down that back straight. I ran super low downforce yesterday and kind of murdered everyone down that straight. So quite possibly there's less overtaking opportunities than last week for anybody who needs to overtake. So you might get held up in traffic and things like that a little bit. And we also might see a crazy pile-up like we had yesterday in turn 1, so which Drake could be involved in, so you never know. It's a difficult one, because there's so many opportunities for just chaos, essentially, where are we? China, that one.
Yes, indeed, we are in China. Before we start today's commentary, I am just going to say that I have switched my streaming programs, so the stream might lag a little bit, so this is an experiment to see if everything goes well. This is my first time streaming with 1080p, So I really hope it goes well and we don't have a lot of stream lag. But you can give me advice in chat if you do see lag. I'll try to fix it during the stream. I was about to say.
Yeah, like we can always restart the stream after quali if it's trash.
Yeah. As we already see some people out on track, the Haas driver of Gola and Kinnable following him right behind in the Williams.
Yeah, it was Robbie that was first out of the pits, but Mateus made a move into turn 11. It's qualifying, and you're not even on a flying lap, but you know, whatever. So we've only got about 4 guys still left in the pits, so everyone's choosing to come out early for these laps, and I think they're all on softs. No, fair enough. There's a decent mix, fair few guys on the mediums as well. They are a fair bit slower, but it's worth getting that sighter lap in because your fastest lap's unlikely to be your first anyway, unless there's weather like we had last week in Brazil, because the track just rubbers in, and especially around the 2 snail sections, as we see Mateus going around turns 1 to 4 here in this first snail section. The rubbering in of the track means you can just take so much more speed and you get so much less understeer through there. You can really maximise the corners a lot better. On the run... Oh, Patrick's been disqualified for blocking the pit lane. So
oh,
I
really?
imagine he's either spun it or that's getting out of somebody's way. You did mention the curse of the Red Bull second driver, so I suppose that's kicked off already and got in with that one, as we see Mateus coming through these sweeps of 7 and 8 here in Sector 2. Hard on the brakes over on the right hand side for turn 9. You want to get on the power early, carry as much speed as possible through turn 10, and on the short run here down to turn 11 into this second snail section. Obviously a purple second sector is the first guy on a lap. Avoid that little sausage curb on the inside because it can unsettle the car, and you want to get as much power down as possible for the drive all the way around turn 13. Let it run out wide, carry maximum speed, and get as good a run as possible all the way down this longest straight on the calendar on the run down into 14. This is going to be the main overtaking opportunity. It's a long DRS zone. It's an extremely high speed straight. And then you want to be hard on the brakes down to 2nd or 3rd gear for turn 14 for the tight hairpin. Through 15, which isn't a corner. And then avoid the sausage curb on the inside, as you found out, and avoid track limits on the outside through 16 to complete your lap. And Mateus was a 32.1.
Not at the fastest.
Behind does a 33.1. So second difference at the moment, as we've got one of the Alfa Romeos, which is Lucas, who I think's bailed that or had made a mistake somewhere with a 35.5, and his teammate Quill is a 33.6, and he's on the mediums, so that's a decent lap on the medium tyres. As the second half of George goes faster on the mediums with the 33.5, and we've got McLaren behind him just starting his lap, so that's not a time. But Mateus Jurgiel there with the 34.0. And Ian Bilbas on the mediums with a 32.5. That's a big lap on the medium tyres.
And his teammate
about a
follows him right
second and a
behind.
half worth of delta. Yeah, and Johnny with a 39.
But
Mark goes
Znamenowski takes
fastest,
the pole.
31.8.
Mikkelsen
Decent
follows him
lap.
right behind with a 131.9, 50,000th of a second off. But Bilbas is showing really strong pace today. The difference between the mediums... Oh, Drake Dempsey has retired.
Yeah.
He did that last time.
He did say he wasn't sure if he was going to qualify or not. I don't think he's had much time to practice China with the other leagues he races in as well.
I guess we're gonna see
so
another
we're going to see another
last
last to first challenge break. We might see a big fight at the front again, possibly. But the alternate strategy is very, very strong here. We saw that with Ryan yesterday. You just have so much pace on the softs at the end, and the mediums last so much longer than the soft tyres do. The alternate strategy is very strong here, so don't be surprised to see Drake leading around about lap 9 once all the soft guys have dived in to put their medium tyres on. And we've got Mercedes around, which is Matthias Jelinek on the exit of turn 4, and that's I don't think that was on his flying lap. I think he probably made a mistake on his flyer, so I think that was most likely his in lap. He does have a 149 on the board, which obviously isn't going to be his quickest time. He's definitely going to want to beat it now. He's spun with those tyres though, because they're not going to be liking him very much.
So the difference between the mediums and softs should be around a second and 2/10. So Bilbas, Tuka, and Foz doing a really good job on these mediums. If Bilbas and Tuka stay in P4 and P5 after everyone does their laps, starting on mediums, like you said, would be very beneficial. I think a one-stop is definitely better than a two-stop. Ryan lost the win because he did a two-stop, going from...
No, he didn't. He did a one-stop.
Oh,
he just started on the mediums.
Oh.
Ryan just couldn't catch David. He was too fast.
Yeah.
David just... that first off stint, David just drove off. I couldn't get near him. He was for at least sort of half a second a lap faster than me. And then, because of the time gain he got there, he came out behind some guys that were on their one mediums, managed to not get held up too much, and that gave him the DRS and just pushed him further and further forwards. But I think the one-stop's probably better because you're not having to worry about traffic and things. But at the end of the race, the softs are so much faster than sort of 15 to 20 lap old mediums. I mean, Ryan took like 2.5 seconds a lap out of me after he pit. They're incredibly quick comparatively, but they do fall off a cliff pretty quickly.
Nathan Powers...
Gonna struggle to get more than about 8 laps.
Nathan Powers was just about to finish his lap on mediums, but he has spun at the same corner I did yesterday. So you can see that
the wall.
Yes. So you can see that that part of the track is very, let's say, infamous. It's really difficult to get right because if you get it wrong, you lose way too much time. But if you get it correctly, you gain like 3/10 off of anyone. So it's very difficult to get it right, but I think I was just pushing a little bit too much. I was
took a little bit too much inside curb, hit that sausage curb, and it just unsettled the whole car. So we might see some of that in the race. I'd expect to see some of it in qualifying, especially on the final lap. Guys are going to be trying to push that limit to gain that extra couple of tenths. The qualifying yesterday was incredibly close. There was, what, 3.5 tenths covered the top 8 or something like that?
Top 10.
So it's something where if you can gain that 1.5, 2 tenths out of that last corner, it can elevate you 4 or 5 places up the grid, depending on whereabouts your time is. So it's definitely something I expect people to do on their last lap. I wasn't expecting too much on the first lap. You just want to get a banker in, make sure you've got a lap there. Making sure you know what you're doing with the track, where the grip is, what the weather's doing to the tyres, things like that. Because they do overheat a lot through the snails. The fact that they're both the same direction, that they're both long right-handed corners, means your front left basically wants to kill you after you've come through turn 13. So it's good to sort of just keep an eye on the tyre temperatures and see just how hard you can push, where you want to get the tyres at the start of the lap before they melt in turn 1. And obviously you want to keep hold of as much rubber as possible for turn 13. The tyres are probably going to be about 8 or 9% worn when they start the race, which is a lot for, 1 flying lap and 2 cruising around. And the thing I'm expecting we might see as well, but we haven't seen any yet, is a bit of team play down this back straight with giving each other a tow. I mean, we saw the Mercedes guys do it in USA. And I mean, we were doing it here yesterday because it is so powerful. That straight is so long. You just gain what, 3, 4, maybe tenths if you get the slipstream right.
Even more, I think.
Wow. I mean, especially if one of you's running low downforce. Like even with the slipstream, you couldn't catch me. So you got the tow the whole way down the straight.
Yeah, I was running a pretty high downforce setup, and that is the big dilemma with China. You either run a really high downforce setup because there is quite a few difficult corners to get a hold of, and because the tires wear out so quickly, a high downforce setup could probably be more preferable in the race. But a low downforce setup gives you chances to overtake better on the main straight and the start-finish straight. So it's really difficult to see both sides of the story and to see which setup could work the best. But I do think a little bit higher the downforce setup in the race especially could be way more beneficial, as I said before. Higher wear
I had just a 31.1 to go fastest by 7 tenths.
And
so I don't know if that's rubbering in or if that's him pushing and what that looks like.
That is him pushing, because we are on board with Namirovsky. Only 1/10 improvement in sector 2, but maybe he messed up in the last 3 corners, so let's see what lap time he can do. He finished, I think, P4 last time, or on the podium. Don't quote me on that.
He was in that front group, I'm not sure where it was exactly.
I think he...
I know Jacob Mickelson ran out of fuel, so he could have been P2 actually.
Probably. I don't really remember.
Jacob ran out of fuel, and obviously Tuka had his spin a few laps from the end. As Marek just keeps it in track limits around the 16. And it's a 31.3, so he found about 3/10 in that final sector. Not quite enough to match Iron. That 31.1's really good. It's about 7/10 faster than Paul yesterday in PC2.
I think he messed up the final corner a little bit as he touched the sausage curb on the inside. If he didn't touch it, he would probably improve by way more, as Mickelson actually did his time right now and actually did not improve. There is still 6 minutes left until the session, so all of these drivers can probably do 1 or 2 more runs. But yeah, like you were saying, it's interesting how there are no major team plays happening with Slipstream.
I mean, speaking of that, though, the two Alpine boys are on track together. I think Luke's on an in lap. Nathan behind him, maybe on his flyer.
Powers is on a flyer, but Mills is on
and he's on
lap.
mediums. But this might be a case of Luke giving him a tow to maybe get those mediums in the top 10. Give him the advantage of that alternate strategy. To see what Luke does coming through 13. There is a Mercedes in front, but it shouldn't be close enough to be a problem.
Let's see if we do see some team play, as we were talking about. Powers has done a lap time of a 150.0, so probably messed up somewhere. But Luke Mills is not slowing down.
Yeah.
So
Luke doesn't want to give Nathan a tow in case he outqualifies him, I think.
So let's see where he ends up. Going out to turn 14 right now. The Mercedes of Znamierovski slowing down. Doesn't want to give the dirty air to the drivers behind him.
Luke was on the lap himself, even though it said his tyres were a lap old. I assumed he wasn't.
But he didn't use
P9
any
though,
ERS.
with 32.6.
And Powers...
Nathan with 32.5 on mediums.
So the Alpine boys have been practicing, both of them in the top 10. That is very, very good to see.
Good laps. Especially Nathan's on the mediums. I mean, that's faster than Tuka managed on his, so Nathan's now top of our medium runners.
But there is a really big difference between everyone. From
everyone's going to want to go softs, I think. I don't think P8's high enough to be worth the alternate strategy.
And one exception
you're
is
likely
Wayne,
to get like monstered by the guys below you that are going to decide to swap them onto the softs. So you'd probably be outside the top 10 anyway, in which case you might as well just try and get higher up and match the front guys.
Looks like Elwell in the Williams is on another flyer. Let's see what he can do. He has put fresh softs, improving by 1/10 in Sector 2 already. If he manages to keep this up, he will still stay P7, just behind Gola, who has done a pretty average qualifying lap with a 132.1. Going to turns 9 and 10. He takes it pretty well, short shifts to 4th and 5th, and gets a pretty good exit. Going to turns 11, actually putting the fastest sector 2 of the session at the moment.
I think that's a bug, in fairness.
Looking
at where Iron's time is, I think that's a bug. But he is 3/10 up, so it's going to be interesting to see if he can keep this, if he maybe can find some more time. Possibly put him around Jacob and Quill with that low 31.9s. Just 2,000s between... Oh, big lock up though into 14.
Nearly spins as well as he goes to 15.
Definitely ham his lap and definitely going to ham his tyres.
I think he probably should have gotten into the pit lane.
Pretty good through 16. And it's a 32.2, so it's a very slight improvement because of that error.
He probably should have gotten into the pit lane as he would. Yeah, he's not
going to have time to get another lap in here, unfortunately. Yeah. But speaking of team play, Mercedes.
But both of them are on a outlap.
Yeah. So I wonder if Marek's going to let Mateus go, and Mateus is basically going to sack this lap off.
And Bilbas is still in the pit lane. So
Mateus has put mediums on.
I don't think he's fast enough to get into the top 10. There is a very big difference. We saw the fastest people with Tuka and Powers setting a 132.5 on mediums. So if he does a lap on mediums, he would probably, or his best chance would be probably in the top 12 or top 13 with those mediums. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see as the Mercedes of Namirovsky starts his flying lap. But Bilbas, oh, he lagged. I thought that he messed him up as Namirovsky has backed out of that flying lap, probably because of that incident.
Yeah, so now I think Marek is just going to get a little bit of a wriggle on, let some of this traffic go, and probably give Mateus a tow down that back straight. See where he can get Mateus on these medium tyres. So he's splitting strategies here, but if he can give him 2 or 3 tenths, that could really be beneficial. Get him somewhere pretty high up.
As Lucas
have to let these 2 behind him go.
As Lucas Dirksen in the Alfa Romeo has currently set the fastest sector 2, as Bilbas has left the session. I hope that he can rejoin.
Mateus' way. So no tow from Mercedes, no tow from anyone, I don't think.
The Alfa Romeo driver
still on an out lap, so he's not getting a tow there from somebody else.
Horak
Martin
has
Horrocks
retired.
Oh, I think he's just retired. But he's done it on track. He's not allowed.
Dirksen goes P3, a 131.7. He is third. That is a really good time.
Yeah, that's a good lap.
Let's see who else is on the flying lap. Looks like Mikkelsen is just about to finish his flying lap as he got a little bit of a tow from the Mercedes of Namirovsky. I think now Namirovsky wants to do another lap, but I don't think he has enough time to get to the finish line in time.
He needs to go now if he wants to get there.
As Mikkelsen cuts the inside curb.
Mark's in.
And Mikkelsen puts a 131.4, only 20 thousandths of a second to P2. Really close.
Yeah, Mark decided to bail on it. It just came in. Whether he didn't think he was going to make the line, I'm not sure, but decided just to come in.
Jonathan Voss, a 131.4, puts him in P4, just in front of Lucas the Dirksen. A really good qualifying position for him.
Yeah. I think Mateus is going for another lap on those medium tyres in the Mercedes. Should have enough fuel to get around, and the tyres obviously don't wear that fast, so a second lap on them is not all that bad. It's not ideal, but it's not terrible. You can put a fresh set on if you're going to be starting outside the top 10 anyway, so there's not really too much to lose here. He's not going to get a tow, unfortunately. There's no one in front of him. Quite a big gap up to the Haas of Mateus Golo, I think that is.
As Jurgil goes P2 with a 131.3.
It's a great lap from the McLaren.
Incredibly good.
Teammate Camille's just coming over the line now after see if he can get his McLaren up there. Nah, and P14 unfortunately, so he's not going to be challenging at the front with his teammate Mateus Jurgil.
We still have just a few more people finishing their laps. The first guy is gonna be Lucas Dirksen, who actually goes into the pit lane.
Pitting. Yeah.
Behind him,
pitting,
Gola.
So it's gonna be Mateus.
And he does a 31.5. Puts him in P6
right now. But we've got another couple of guys finishing. Mateusz Jelinek gets P15 on those mediums, so he's gonna be able to bolt a fresh set on before we start.
And Pavlakovic is going into the pit lane. He is our
so just Jonathan Voss, but I'm not sure if that was a lap or if he... Yeah, no, he finished his lap after the amount, unfortunately.
That is everyone. So Bilbas takes pole position with a really incredible time, a 131.1. Mateus Jurgil follows him right behind in the McLaren with a 131.3. Incredible qualifying session from the McLaren driver. The Mercedes of Namirovsky follows him right behind and starts the second row of the grid. Mikkelsen finishes the second row of the grid. Bilbas's teammate in AlphaTauri, Voss, is P5, and Gola actually getting a really good position, with him having pretty unlucky races so far in USA and Brazil. He will start P6 in today's race. The duo of Alpha starts P7 and 8, and Horak and Ilwell finish the top 10 of the grid. All of these drivers will have to start on soft tires, as per the rules. If you qualify in the top 10, you have to start on the tires you put the fastest lap on. If you are below the top 10, you can start on whatever you want. Then we have the duo of Alpine starting P11 and P12. Also pretty okay qualifying session from them, as they have been also pretty unlucky. Tuka Rahkola, P2 guy in the driver standings, actually starting P13, so not really the qualifying session that he wanted today, as Strutzig follows him right behind. Next we have Jelinek, the other Mercedes, and Rob Kinnable in the Williams, starting P16. Next we have Parr and Drake and
Red
Patrick.
Bull back row of Drake and Patrick, yeah. Drake didn't settle that, Patrick got disqualified, so it automatically shuffles him right to the back, which is unfortunate. I think he was probably just getting out of someone's way, and the game was like, that's blocking the pit lane. So it does that. It's kind of stupid. But
It is.
Unfortunately, isn't really anything we can do about it.
The problem with time trial times is they are set with a perfect tire wear and perfect heat in the tires. In qualifying, the tires wear out way too much, so at the end of your lap you would probably have around 15% of your tire wear, so you would lose like immediately 6/10. So comparing time trial and qualifying sessions is not really preferred in China because of the high tire wear and so much time that you lose in the qualifying session. So you can do a lap time of a 130.0 in time trial, but in the qualifying session you would probably do a 130.8 because the tire wear is just way too big. No.
I was only like 3/10 off, but you know, that is me not being mental on time trial.
I was way off. I was like 7/10 off. Bilbas is a AlphaTauri driver. He did not change teams. He is in the AlphaTauri, but he has left the session. I hope that he can rejoin as we are starting our formation lap.
He's bugged because of the DC in quali, so he's gonna have to do what I did yesterday and just wait for the race to start and then join. There is a known bug with the game where if you try and take control of the car, like on the formation lap or while you're sat on the grid, it will just sit there. And then the game DCs you for being parked in a dangerous location.
It will actually not sit there. You actually drive it, but in the spectator menu. I had that glitch once, and I could drive it in the spectator menu. So you are not stuck there. You can drive, but you are in the spectator menu.
Oh, I couldn't.
I could.
I was trying everything, and it wouldn't let the car go.
I could, and then I could drive, and then my gear up button in the spectator menu actually changes camera, as you can see. So I was driving, and my camera was actually switching all the time. So I couldn't really focus where I was going. So it was I think I was having a seizure, or
that's class.
I was puking after that race.
Oh, that's class.
Hello, Marquise. I hope you enjoy today's commentary and the race.
Yeah, so Iron's gonna be coming back in after race start, but he's not happy about it, obviously. But unfortunately, there's not a lot we can do about issues.
Of course.
With the game, it just is what it is. We just have to get used to it.
Yeah. Before we start today's race, I would just like to say to leave a like and subscribe to our channel if you enjoy the content you are watching so far. Also, thank you to our partners Grid Finder, Bolidomania Race Inside, Discord, and JR Designs. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And if you want to donate, there is all of the links in the description. And if you are enjoying the race so far, or at least the qualifying session, and you like what you are seeing, you can join and race with us. The link is in the description. We are currently searching for reserves in both PS and PC tiers. We have 5 PC...
Not PC2, because we have 17,000 reserves in PC2.
Yes, we do. So if you want to race, there is a link in the description, so you can join off of there. As we are currently waiting to start the race, I don't know what we are waiting on.
Decide everyone's sat there. There we go.
There we go. And we are starting with 4 and 5 red lights. It's a long hold up as always, and we are underway for the Chinese Grand Prix, and looks like Bilbas actually got a pretty good start. He is gonna retain P1, but now Namirovsky takes around the outside of Jurgel P2, but he goes really wide. Ooh. And I think he has been overtaken by a lot of people as he goes down to P10. As Mikkelsen now goes to P2, so that's a really good position for him, and Gola is actually battling with Jurgil for P3, so he has gained 2 positions of the line. A really good showing from the Has driver, as we have 3 people in turn 6 with a Foss, Pavlakovic, Elwell, and Powers.
It's car park down there. And Mark's dropped all the way to 13th after his issue in turn 1. He's now behind Brake. He's started on the back row. He's had a good start and is on the back of Coca-Cola. So we might see these three fighting from lap 1 this time instead of waiting to the midpoint of the race as they did last week.
Powers and Lucas
Nathan
Turkson
has managed to make his way up to P. Well, he's fighting for P8 now with Lucas Turkson on those medium tyres. So he's going to be looking to... Sorry, he's on the hard tyres. So he's going to be looking to do as much damage as possible while these guys are still on softs at the front. Wanting to live with them when they're inevitably going to have to pit before lap 10. So he's currently leading for my guys on the ultimate strategy. As Iron Bilbas leads down into 14, but he hasn't managed to break a gap. There's still only about 8 tenths back to Jacob Mikkelsen. So he's going to want to sit there and get that DRS when it opens up in a couple of laps.
Drake Dempsey is already in P11. He is currently fighting with Tuka in the Aston Martin and Pavlakovic. And the guys ahead of him, Elbel and Powers, are also battling for P7.
Go around!
Car is round, and we have
Robbie's
2 Mercedes in the pit lane. As Tuka tries to go around the
Mark
inside.
Pits, so I wonder if he picked up damage when he was regaining.
Tuka is round in turn 1. As Pavlakovic gets a 5-second time penalty for a severe collision because of that. As the both Mercedes guys are in the pit lane.
Yeah, lap 1 double stack, so this is a PC2 USA all over again. And I think we're getting front wings on both cars as well, unfortunately, so this is going to really harm the Mercedes race. Mark's gone on those hard tyres. Considering you can do 20 laps on the mediums, you might be able to get them to the end, but there is a safety car out, so this is going to bunch them all back up. We didn't get a safety car yesterday, so this is a new one. So Bilbas is going to pick up the safety car and then lead them away. I wonder if anyone on these soft tyres is going to dive in and get off them. You're going to lose significantly less, and by the time you have to pit on around about lap 6, maybe lap 8, you're not really going to be able to build enough of a gap to the guys on the harder tyres because of the safety car, or even if you can extend the stint slightly longer. So I wonder if we'll see a lot of these guys dive in, maybe put the hards on to go to the end. I
think that would be the best possible strategy. As I said, when you start the race, your soft tires are mostly at 20%. So getting rid of these softs, either going on mediums and then going on softs at the end of the race, or going on hards to the end, it's definitely gonna prove beneficial for your entire race if you can just switch to other tires than your softs. But let's see what everyone else chooses. As Bilbas goes into the pit lane, Mikkelsen follows him right behind. Jurgil also, Gola also, Foss also. Lucas actually stays out. Foss follows Bilbas, Nathan Powers. So yeah, everyone's mostly going into the pit lane.
Lucas stays out. Drake obviously stays out on those medium tyres. Kamil Stusik on the hards as well is going to move up to P3. So all these guys that start at the back now are going to shuffle up to the front of the grid. So we're going to have Lucas Turkson, the only man who started on the softs who's staying out, and then Drake up from the back row, up into 2nd place thanks to this safety car. And then we have Kamil Strusik on the hard tyres. He's going to be going long and then putting the softs on at the end, with the 2nd Red Bull of Patrick Dougal. So the back row start from Red Bull has turned into 2nd and 4th by lap 3. Luke on his hard tyres is in P5. And then we've got George Power in P6. So all these guys haven't stopped yet. And then we're going to have the leaders from before of Arjen Bilbas, Jacob Mikkelsen, Mateusz Jurgiel, Mateusz Gola, coming up behind them, behind the safety car start. But they're not going to have too much of a tyre advantage, only a couple of laps of wear. So we'll have to see how much this is going to impact the front guys, whether they can build any kind of a gap, or whether they're essentially going to be a pit stop behind. And we'll also have to see any of these guys that have stopped, can they get to the end on these tyres? The guys on the hards, I think, are going to have a decent shout of it, the likes of Jacob Mikkelsen and the 2 Mateuses of Jurgiel and Gola. But I think the mediums, this might be a bit of a bridge too far. It's probably going to be around about lap 5 when we get going again. 23 laps might be a little much. I did 20 yesterday and they were over 70% by the end of the race. So it might be a little excessive to do sort of 23, 24 laps. But possible if these guys have got, really good tyre wear. Maybe they've taken some pressures out of their tyres.
The only problem that might cause our drivers' strategies are rain, as there are a bit of clouds in the air, but I don't know if that is going to affect anything.
Yeah, it's definitely overcast. But whether it becomes rain, I mean, our race started overcast yesterday and then brightened up, and it was quite sort of sunny at the end. So whether it goes that way or whether it goes the other way and starts raining, we'll have to see. This is a very difficult track to drive when it's greasy and you're still on slick tyres because it's not yet reached the crossover. So if it does start to rain, expect to see quite a lot of issues in the two snail sections and in turns 7 and 8, those sweeping left and rights in Sector 2. There's definitely the possibility that guys lose it in there. As well as there's already a possibility of losing it in there because those inside curves are auto spin curves. As the only person that we're waiting to group up now is Mateusz Jelinek at the back for Mercedes. So he's going to be right in the back, easily halfway around this lap, and we should get going again. So I think this is Lucas's first safety car restart, so we'll have to see how he handles it, especially with Drake right behind him. He's not going to want to get mugged by the Red Bull driver over the line into turn 1. But he has got those soft tyres, so that might help him out a little bit here in this fight. They shouldn't be wearing much at all on the safety car. So
the safety car is, let's say, like a formation lap, and yesterday when we were doing our formation lap in PC2, my tire wear went up 5%. That lap. So
it depends how much you're warming them. Plus the formation
I
lap's
wasn't warming them at all. I wasn't warming them at all. So
the formation lap's faster than the safety car laps, though.
It is, but depends on how you drive it. I usually drive it really slow, as safety car is in this lap. So yeah, I drive it pretty slow because I don't want to waste a lot of fuel, and I do not want to wear out the tires way too much. So I got 5%. So Lucas's tires are probably gonna be around 30% right now, because he probably started on 15 lap old softs. So that's actually very interesting why he didn't go into pit lane. He's like you said, the only one on softs that hasn't yet gotten into pit lane. So maybe he's trying to extend to do a one stop, go to mediums until the end of the race, but the safety car is a free pit stop, and in China a free pit stop is like a gift you get on Christmas.
It's pretty big. It's pretty great. I mean, it's not the slowest pit lane in the world, but it's not the fastest either. As Lucas still just backing him up.
Still not going, as Gola gets a 5-second time penalty with Powers, and Powers gets one as well, as Lucas Durkin has started, as he goes very wide.
Very wide at 16. Drake's almost alongside him. Drake's going to have a move around the outside here into turn 1. Sweeps past, gets a much better exit through 16, and that promotes Drake into the lead.
The other
see if Lucas can fight back on these soft tyres, and what happens to the guys behind, because there's some chaos a little bit going behind. Patrick tried to make a move on Camel through turn 3, couldn't quite do it, but he's almost pushing him through 4 here. And we've got Luke Mills and Ian Bilbass side by side, so Bilbass starting to make up some of these places over the guys that haven't stopped yet. That's promoting him currently up into P5, and now he's going to be right on the back of Patrick and Camel. So he's going to have to see if he can get these two while they're going to be scrapping away. And Drake's already got a second out front over Lucas, but Lucas has got 1.8 over Patrick behind.
As we have a
yellow flag behind, we've got a Haas round.
It's Gola.
Gola.
And Jurgil as well spins in turn 9 with contact with someone else.
Good qualifying from those two, and unfortunately ruined with the mistakes in the race.
As Tuka goes around the inside of his teammate, but he just lets him through. He is currently P12 in today's race. But we see people going side by side with Mikkelsen and Parr, Gola's teammate who has spun. Mikkelsen using all of his ERS. Looks like he's running a little bit lower down for setup, as he is getting slipstream from Luke Mills just ahead of them. And let's see if he gets the move done, as Luke Mills is slightly not giving the advantage for Mikkelsen, as there was a little bit of a contact.
16 still.
And Parr
Johnny's round.
Parr spins.
And a 3-second time penalty there for Nathan as well, for good measure. who was chasing those two. So George is unfortunately round, so that's not a good day for Haas so far, as Mateus Gola carries on. But Quill pits from 17th place, so I wonder if he picked up damage on that. As Drake now leads by 1.4 from Lucas, but he's got a 2.3 second advantage over Patrick, who's now fighting with Iron. Iron's managed to get past Camille, and now he's going to get down the inside into 6. He's going to make that move possibly on Patrick, but Patrick's going to fight this. He's not giving it up. And Iron's going to try and sweep around the outside of 7. As Josh Paz DNF'd. He's out of the race.
We have a safety car.
And there's another safety car. So Lucas here has to pit, and this is going to relegate him pretty much to the back of the field. I wonder if anybody else is going to jump in and maybe change their strategy up. Some of these guys on mediums might jump on the hards to get to the end. Some of the guys on hards might jump on the mediums, think they can get a fresh set to the end.
And Gola gets a
drive-through as well, so Haas's day goes from bad to worse.
It's interesting how we have in PC1 so many safety cars when these contacts aren't even that major to the ones that we had in PC2. We had like 4 retirements in PC2 and no safety cars came.
Yeah, I think part of it's the sort of the place where you crash as much as anything else.
I mean,
a lot of the incidents we had, the car was completely off track and way off the racing line. Even yours, to be fair.
But still, it's unbelievable. As Drake, Dempsey, and Dirksen go into the pit lane, that's actually very early, and Patrick follows them as well. So they probably want to get rid of these.
I think Drake probably going on hards just to get this free pit stop, get to the end of the race.
He actually goes softs.
Drake going a 2-star. Maybe he's expecting another safety car. As Lucas is on medium, so he's going to be taking those to the end if he can. Shouldn't be a problem with these couple of laps they've got to serve on the safety car to get those to the end. They should be not happy at the end of the race, but functional at least. And just manages to come out ahead of Mateus Gola, who's got that drive-through penalty. So he's not going to want to get held up by Mateus possibly going a little bit slower on the restart. Not really seeing a point in fighting the guys in front.
So Bilbas actually takes his lead back in the race. He is P1. Let's actually see who has improved the most positions. It goes to Kamil Strutzig in the McLaren, starting from P14. Currently is P2, and Luke Mills is actually having a really good race today as well. He is P3 on the final spot on the podium, starting from P11. So looks like he has been practicing. And the only people that have penalties are Nathan Powers with a 8-second time penalty, and Gola has a drive-through penalty, which is very unfortunate, but you can't do anything about it. If you do not serve it, you are gonna get disqualified from the race, and no one wants that. No one. Or maybe you want, I don't know. I cannot read your thoughts.
I think you wanted to yesterday, but most of them does not particularly.
The fastest lap currently is held by Jake Dempsey, a 1:34.9, but that's to be expected.
It's a shocker.
2 seconds faster than Bilbas. The second fastest time.
Second and a half. That's a big difference. So yeah, we've got a few guys that have made up a decent amount of places. Camille and Luke, obviously. Nathan's up 6 places as well. Luke is up 5, currently running P8. And then obviously we've had the guys who have had some issues after qualifying. Quill's lost 9 places. Mateus Gola's lost 8. Mateus Yogel's lost 9. Marek's lost 6, unfortunately, from 3rd on the grid, currently running P9 with his teammate right behind him. Drake's in again, so I wonder if that was an error with the soft tyres.
He will probably go for mediums right now.
Red Bull's supposed to be good at pit stops, I heard. They've diddled him a bit there. Yeah, he goes medium tyres, so that's going to put him towards the back. I hope Mateus isn't trying to save his drive-through.
Or maybe that wasn't a mistake.
No, he's putting mediums on. So he's putting mediums on.
So
and serving 5 seconds as well that you seem to have.
I think
so Mateus is going to be going to the end on these mediums, but he's still going to have that drive-through to serve.
I think that Drake is actually doing a very good strategy. As he started on mediums, he probably didn't want to go for hards, as hards are awful in China. So going for softs, already doing his one-stop strategy and what you need to do, and then going on mediums again to go to get until the end of the race. He has faster tires, and these can definitely go
Of course he had, Of course he had 2 fresh sets because he didn't run. Well, he didn't run in qualies,
yeah.
but he definitely didn't run on the mediums in qualies. So he had 2 brand new sets. Yeah, that's a good catch. I missed that. I'm supposed to be the strategy guy.
I always get my strategies wrong. I probably shouldn't say that on stream, so anyone can hear. But yeah, my strategies are quite bad, and that's why I lost.
Carry in this lap.
Yeah, that's why I lost weight.
I don't know. I think your idea of a 5-stop yesterday was pretty inspiring. For Owen's benefit, I know, but still. So Iron's going to be backing them up here, letting the safety car get away. It's a really long straight here for you to back everyone up because the safety car's not fast.
I
mean, for a road car, but for an F1 car, it's not fast.
You know what? Actually, I don't think Owen needed to do that 5-stop as he spun a bajillion times, so he already lost all the time that he would lose in the pit stops. So
he should have pit every time he spun. That should be a rule. Every time you spin, you've got to pit.
Then it's good that Luke Mills has finished some races without spinning, so he's already having the advantage.
No, he hasn't. Oh yeah, he hasn't.
I mean, last time he finished without spins.
He's spun, but I think only once at Brazil.
Yeah. And he's currently P3 as Jonathan Foss actually spins.
Whoa.
But I don't think there's damage.
On the safety car. Yeah, luckily he goes through everyone behind, otherwise, so the half the grid doesn't get 3-second time penalties. 5-second time penalties, sorry.
Maybe he was trying to avoid. Oh, Bilbas goes very early.
Bilbas has gone early.
But yeah, maybe Jonathan.
He's got a jump on Camel though. He's got 1.3 seconds. And Luke's there you go. Told you.
But wait, wait. No one can overtake it as it's yellow flags. So Mikkelsen has overtaken powers, but he needs to take that pace back because he overtook on under yellow flags.
But but he's very sneakily giving him it back on around the outside of turn 1. And Jacob's just going to keep his nose in here and try and fight it, but he's going to lose out on the exit of 3 and the run through 4. So he's not going to be able to fight this into 6 unless he makes a rather expansive dive bomb.
Luke
Jane almost rear ends him.
Luke has spun.
I did say.
Why do I
Don't say Luke hasn't spun yet. There we go.
Why do I have to jinx everything? But yeah, Drake Dempsey goes around the outside into turn 6 on Jonathan Foss, who also spun. But I think he was avoiding contact with one guy, so that's probably why he spun.
Yeah. Ian was going very slow, but I mean he's totally allowed to do that. He wasn't accelerating and braking. He was just maintaining a constant speed. So I don't think there's any problem with the restart. It's probably just the guys behind wanting to get on with it before the guys at the front have decided it's time to. A little similar to real F1 at Mugello in 2020, where the guys at the back decided the race had started before Valtteri in the lead. But Ian going early did get a real jump. He's 2.6 seconds clear of Kamil Thrusik in second place, who's going to be coming under some pressure from Nathan, Jacob, Jaden, Tuka, a whole train forming behind him now. There's a 3-second time penalty for Martin Horrock. He's just our second 3-second time penalty, actually, so the guys are doing pretty good in terms of track limits.
As Jake Dempsey has currently overtaken Jonathan Foss around down the inside, and he is P13, slowly making up ground that he lost in the safety car.
Yeah, so Mateus Scola's in to serve his drive-through. So he's going to be racing to the end and hoping to gain time and places on some of these guys. It's possible that their tyres are just going to drop off at the end of the race. Mateus on much fresher rubber, so he'll be hoping to go further. And Drake gets round the inside of Martin Horrock, but Martin Horrock's going to fight this into 6 on those hard tyres. Leaving space, maybe slight contact on exit, but Drake gets the place and he's up into P12 behind his reserve teammate of Patrick Dougal. I wonder if Patrick is going to fight this, or if he's going to decide that he's a reserve in the second Red Bull season and just needs to let him go. Drake's closing up on him. He might get some slipstream here down this back straight once they've got through 11, 12, and 13. That's 3.2 seconds now, the gap at the front. So Iron's gone, and he's trying to build as big a gap as possible before either Tuka or Drake manage to get up into second place and close him down, which they'll all be hoping to do. As DRS is going to open next lap, so we might see some moves that you can fight into 14. Jaden's trying to get down the outside of Jacob. going to be a battle under the brakes. Massive lock up in front, driving into fog there in the corner. And Tuka's just floating around behind them, waiting for them to trip over each other.
We have another spin in the back. It is Jonathan Foss.
It's Jonathan Foss again, unfortunately. So AlphaTauri having a mixed day, currently 1st and 15th. Jonathan's going to have to be careful with those tyres. Bit of a moment through 16 as they're very hot at the moment.
Mikkelsen and Elwell going side by side into turns 1 and 2, and they'll make a little bit of contact into turn 3. Elwell trying to squeeze Mikkelsen off track, but he retains P4, and Tuka actually trying to make a move. Let's see. Mikkelsen defended the inside line like he's doing it for his entire life, but Tuka manages to get P5 around the inside.
He gets the space. And Lucas is fighting Drake behind as well. Lucas is not giving up this place. He's happy to fight. Patrick let Drake go without too much difficulty, and Drake's getting down the inside through 7. That's an interesting place to make an overtake, and almost got Mateusz Jurgiel in front as well through 8. So Drake's flying on these medium tyres. So he's now behind 4 guys on wearing hards. So those guys are all going to be going to the end. So this is going to be for position. You should have a lot more pace on those medium tyres.
Oh, and Jake,
as he's almost really pushing Jurgiel through 13 here.
I think he is. But he just has to stay behind. But he will get DRS on Jurgiel, and Jurgiel is way too far behind to get on Yellowneck. So this will probably be a very easy overtake on the McLaren driver. And it is.
Yeah, but again, Drake seems to be running quite a lot of downforce. Even with the DRS, he's not miles in front. And has a small lock-up into 14. But it shouldn't be too much of an issue. Still managed to make the apex. So it's not going to add too much wear to his wheels.
I mean,
and now
like
he sets off in pursuit of the 2 Mercedes guys. So
Lucas,
a Red Bull against 2 Mercedes.
Lucas
we've seen this before, and it's ended in tears.
Lucas,
as the guys at the front, Jaden, Tuka, and Jacob, are all still fighting super close together. Just 6/10 separates the 3 of them. And Jacob almost pushed Tuka through turn 3, as Tuka was trying to not run into the back of Jaden. And now leads by 4 seconds at the front, so he's still building out that gap over Camel's old hard tyres. Camel's still not stopped. Pretty sure he's the only guy that's not been in the pits. Yeah, just Camel and Luke that currently haven't stopped. So they're both going to have to make a pit stop. Probably hoping for another safety car so they don't lose too much in terms of position. Camel pits now, I'm pretty sure it puts him last because of the bunching on the safety car. And he's going to come under pressure here. Down the long back straight into 14 from Nathan. Nathan's right on his back, 4/10 back, and there's a bit of breathing room behind Nathan, so he can be a bit aggressive here. He's not going to lose any places. But he's running a lot of downforce. He's not closing on Camel at all down this straight with DRS.
While that fight is happening, Tukac is trying to move around the outside on Elwell. Elwell not leaving a lot of room. He nearly spins as he loses control of his rear end, and that man manages to get Tuka a position, and he
Elwell's in.
He is not. He
I thought it was ping!
He locked up and nearly collided with Tuka.
Right, okay.
Nearly collided.
Drake with the fastest lap. He's now in P8, so he's managed to get past Mateusz Jelinek. I wonder if he's had a problem, because he's already like 3 seconds back from Drake and his teammate. Drake is down the inside of turn 1, but Marek's going to fight this. This is going to be like Brazil again.
We have another spin
and we've
from
got a yellow flag.
Jonathan Foss.
It's Jonathan Foss again, I think. So yeah, not a good day for Jonathan. His teammate currently leading, and he's facing the wrong way more often than he would like.
Drake is taking pretty weird lines into turn 6. He was dancing all around the track. I
think he's trying to stay out of the dirty air a little bit as he's making his way up through these guys. And there's a slight bit of contact on the exit of 9 with Jaden as he gets on the power far earlier than the Williams driver. But he's going to have the DRS here down this straight, but Jaden's going to have it in front of him as well. So we'll have to see just how much downforce he is running as Luke's around again at the back. On the flick between 7 and 8, Luke's unfortunately lost control of the car. So we'll have to see just how much downforce Drake's running here. Can he overtake Jaden? He's deploying a decent chunk of his battery, and he's pulling alongside. It's going to be a battle on the brakes. And Drake does get down the inside and manages to make the apex. Jaden's going to try and fight it back, but I think Drake's just going to get a better exit. he's up into P6, and now he's going to take off after Jacob and Tuka, who have actually dropped back a bit from Camille in terms of what the gap was. So Camille's got that DRS now on Nathan, and it's sort of pulling him away a little bit from Tuka and Jacob behind, which he's gonna need. He's gonna need all the time he can get before he has to make his pit stop, probably around about lap 20. Put those soft tyres on to go to the end.
And Drake is now trying to go around the outside of May and Mikkelsen, who is defending the inside line into turn 6. Let's see, he locks up a little bit, but Drake is gonna do a switcheroo and manages to overtake him.
Nearly loses the car.
But both of them nearly lose the car as Drake goes to P5. Now he is chasing down Tuka as Luke Mills goes into the pit lane to do his probably final pit stop. Goes on mediums, going to the end of the race. As Drake Dempsey,
that'll be P5 to the end.
Yes, Drake Dempsey getting really good lines on Tuka. Of course, he is the F1 championship contender, or at least in season 6, he nearly won the title before he switched to PC. The worst decision he probably ever made. He is now.
Oh no, we got better racing, as we discovered last week. PS F1 at Brazil was a bit of a clusterfuck. Whereas PC was obviously great. So Drake manages to get Tuka with DRS, gets sideways out of 15. But Tuka's going to have the DRS into turn 1, and he's not going to let this go without a fight. He fought Drake very, very hard at Brazil last week, and he's going to be wanting to do the same again as Drake sets another fastest lap.
Oh, Tuka trying to go around the outside!
Trying it around the outside! No, that's not going to work. Turn 1's technically an overtaking place, but it's not the easiest. Tuka's going to be wanting to hang with Drake here, even though he's on 5 up all the tyres. Stick in the DRS. Maybe make a move back into turn 14 this next lap, but he's got to not lose half a second in this middle sector, which on more worn tyres is not going to be the easiest thing in the world, as Drake sets off after Camille and Nathan in front of him.
Imagine if Drake, 5 races before the end of the season, switches to PS again.
Imagine.
Like, what?
He should have kept the PS and just raced in both.
yes, or at least he should have gotten his title in F1 and then switched to PC.
Well, maybe. Well, Tuka's managed to stick in Drake's DRS. He's only lost 3 tenths in that middle sector. So he's going to get DRS, but Drake's managed to close up on Camille, and he's going to have DRS as well. So it's not going to give Tuka the opportunity to attack, or just the opportunity to hopefully live with the Red Bull driver.
But Drake doesn't have any ERS, so he doesn't have almost anything to fight with except the DRS. But Strutzi is also catching up to Powers just ahead of him, who is having
Camel's
a really good
very
race.
fast down that straight. You saw Nathan with the DRS couldn't really make a move, and Drake seems to be running quite a lot of downforce because he's not really monstering anybody down that straight. Camel might be able to fight this relatively well. Drake dumps the rest of his battery to make the move into turn 1. Put him into the podium positions.
I don't
He's
think
going to be staring at that Alpine in front and hoping to catch up to that by the end of this lap so we can get DRS once again.
it's probably not preferable for Camille's race to fight with Drake, as he has 8 lap older hards. So even if he wanted to fight with Drake, that would probably lead to nowhere or a crash, which is a worse outcome to have.
I don't think he was intending of going offline and compromising his own race, but just with the straight line speed he's got, he might have been able to hold him off relatively easily without really doing too much.
I'm noticing some lag on the stream. I hope it's fixed now.
Yeah. So yeah, Drake has just managed to get into the DRS range of Nathan, so he is going to have this toe down here. As the gap at the front stayed around about 4 seconds, so Ian bolted after the safety car restart, but hasn't really built that gap any. And now has Drake just half a second behind Nathan.
And
he's going to have the DRS here, but I'm not sure he's going to be close enough with no ERS. Yeah, he's not going to be able to make the move into 14. I wonder if he's going to try and move into 1 again. Maybe focus on maximising his exit out of turn 16. And try and make that move. Like he seems to like to do down the pit straight. Before they get anywhere near turn 1, really. Yeah, he's right on the back of Nathan through 16. Another fastest lap. And he does move up into P2. So he's got 11 laps to close this 4 seconds and then overtake Iron, which he's got 5 laps fresher tyres, so he should be able to do it without a huge amount of trouble. It's the overtake at the end that might be tricky, depending on how much straight line speed Iron's got in that AlphaTauri. And Tuka and Jacob have now come up onto the back of Kamil Strusik, so they're going to be looking to make a move on the McLaren guys, on the McLaren driver, so he doesn't hold them up too much, as he still hasn't pit to put probably soft tyres on at the end of the race. The field hasn't really spread all that much. There's a pretty big gap between Patrick in P12 and Jonathan in P13, which is probably where Camil's going to be looking at coming out, and then maybe attacking the guys in front on those brand new soft tyres. We saw Ryan yesterday was 2.5 seconds faster than most of the field on those soft tyres at the end of the race. So there is definitely the opportunity to make up places on those final sort of 7, 8, 9 laps when you do put the fresh soft tyres on. As Drake's taken the best part of a second out of Iron in that lap, it's now the gap down to 3.2. But Nathan's just managed to hang in his DRS, so he's going to be getting dragged along a little bit with the Red Bull. Hoping to build a big enough gap to protect himself from Tuka and Jacob when they're finally released by Kamil. Kamil has a big lock up into 14, but manages to keep the place. Tuka's going to be looking to do Drake's favoured move here, get a good run out of 16 and maybe make the attack into turn 1.
As Mikkelsen
He gets a
goes
decent
pretty
drive,
wide.
but it's not excessively good. So he's not going to be pushing Kamil through turn 1.
But while that is
the
happening,
McLaren driver stays in P4 for now.
But while that is happening, the other McLaren is currently fighting with Patrick and Pavlovic and Jelenek as well in the Alpha and Mercedes. This is a 4-way fight for P9 as Pavlovic and Jurgen actually make contact. And Pavlovic is bound. That might be a penalty after the race. We will have to investigate that.
I think that was the racing incident as much as anything else. Will was moving back onto the racing line, with Patrick and Mateus behind him side by side. Mateus sort of stuck the nose in a little bit, mostly to try and jump Patrick more than really to attack Quill. Just as Quill moved back over to take the apex, the nose just happened to be there. But there wasn't a huge amount in it. I don't think it's really penalty worthy.
And that is why
Possibly
I'm not
a warning,
steward.
penalty points, but I don't think it's a time penalty worth offence. There's nothing dangerous in that, or lack of awareness, I don't think.
And people ask me why I don't want to be a steward. As we have spin, it is Pavlovic again.
Yeah, Quill's tyre's super hot after his spin at turn 1. He's lost his front wing, so that's going to ruin his race anyway, unfortunately. And he's probably going to lose the place here to Jonathan Foss, who got very twitchy on the exit of turn 10, but managed to keep it pointing the right way this time. And the gap at the front's now about 2 seconds. Drake's taken another second out of Iron and pulled a second away from Nathan. So he's just lapping way faster than these guys. His tyres are 5 laps fresher, so they're not going to go off as fast. As Kamil Strusik still in P4, still managing to hold Tuka and Jacob off. And this is going to be costing them time. They're going to be wanting to clear the McLaren as quick as possible and get onto the back of Nathan if they can.
He is using a little bit of his ERS before turn 6.
Doesn't go for the move in 6. I thought he might have a look.
But Kamil looks up.
Thinks better of it.
I think Tuka or Bill Bass might go into the pit lane, as having these mediums go for 9 more laps is going to be a really big struggle, and they might be in the
other
puncture
Aston Martin
zone.
Martin Horrocks has spun it out of 16. Yeah, it's difficult, but I think it's possibly worth the risk, because you're just going to lose so many places if you pit at this point. And you're not going to have a huge amount of time to make them back up again. I mean, Kamil has to do that. He has to pit, because he hasn't. But it's not ideal, it's not something you really want to do. It might be a case of Tuka pitting, possibly, because it's going to jump Kamil at the very least, and then see what he can do on the soft tyres. He's using a lot of his battery down this straight, though, and he's making the move into 14.
But
so he manages to get Kamil, but Kamil's going to fight this back on exit. I think he's just going to get a better exit on the medium tyres. And he does pit. Tuka's in.
I am jinxing a lot
so yeah,
of things.
Tuka's going aggressive here, as Marek gets a 3-second time penalty from Mercedes. So the penalty is starting to ramp up a little bit, as Matej Jurgiel also gets one from McLaren, chasing the second Mercedes, but there's about a 6-second gap, so he's going to have to do some work to catch up to that. So yeah, Tuka's on soft tyres, so he's going to be coming out. Oh, Mateo Gale's out. Oh, he's retired in the pits. So he's called it for the day. And Tuka's going to get out just in front of Jaden, possibly.
And he does.
Yeah, Jaden's not going to be able to fight that through turn 1. Tuka on up to temperature, brand new soft tyres, is just going to be able to take a much tighter line. So he's in the points, he's in P10. He's got 9 seconds to gain on Matej Jelinek in front. And he's got 8 laps to do it. And on these brand new soft tyres against 1 hards, they're going to be significantly faster. So I expect to see him catching Matej Jelinek probably in about 4 laps, I would imagine. And then he'll have to see what he can do in terms of places. Matej Jelenek's within that second of the second Red Bull of Patrick Dougal. So he's going to be hoping he can catch up to that. But at the front, Drake has got into Iron's DRS. But he's not able to make a move this time into turn 14. Iron has a lockup, and so does Drake, actually. So these tyres starting to become a little tricky under braking. Starting to slide along the tarmac a bit. As Iron's going to try and defend this for his life, I think. Yeah, he's deploying some DRS. He knows where Drake likes to make his moves into turn 1. So deploy some of his battery to protect himself. And I don't think Drake's going to be able to drive clean around the outside of him. But this might protect him for the rest of the lap. Until we get back down into the DRS zone again. Drake's managed to recoup some of his battery though, so he's up around about 30-35%. But Iron's on 65%, so he's going to have more battery to defend with. But that DRS is incredibly strong on the run down into 14. And there's 4 seconds back now to Nathan behind them. So these front 2 have basically gone away. And Camel's still out on track on those 20 lap old hard tyres. Hasn't pit yet, and we've got a yellow flag.
It is Horak who spun.
I think he might have just been slowing down, maybe getting out of Nathan's way.
Maybe.
As he is now a lap down. Which is good to see. We don't want to see the guys that are unfortunately a lap down. I don't want to see them fighting too hard with the leaders. And really influencing that race.
And Tuka has already gained 4 seconds on Jelinek.
Jesus. Matej Golos, that's the fastest lap with a 33.8 on fresh medium tyres. But we'll see Tuka annihilate that, I would imagine, on those softs. If Quill or Martin don't. Yeah, Quill with a 33.2. He's right up on the back of Luke Mills on brand new soft tyres. So he's also getting DRS, which is going to advantage him and going for that fastest lap.
And Drake Dempsey.
Oh, there's contact in turn 1. They're both round in turn 1.
And Drake is trying to go on Bill Bass as well. Now into turn 1. Bill Bass is using all of his ERS that he can, but he just leaves enough space around the outside as he goes very deep. And
Drake with a switch.
Drake does a switch back, and this is going to be side by side into turns 3. And there was a little bit of contact.
Iron sort of throws it into turn 3 a little bit, and Drake didn't realise he was there and just turned in.
But
Iron keeps the place. I don't think there's damage for either of them, and I don't think there was anything untoward really in there.
And Bill Bass now
Iron was perfectly entitled to go for the apex.
And
now Camel's in, Camel pits. And yeah, Tuka's managed to jump him with that earlier stop by quite a distance. Those soft tyres are a lot faster than the old hards of Camel. There's a gap of 6 seconds between Tuka and Camel. They only pit 1 lap earlier. That just shows just how fast those brand new softs are. And he's now just 2 seconds behind Matej Jelinek. Wow.
And Tuka also has the advantage of people ahead of him having penalties. Nathan Powers has 8, Mikkelsen has 3, and Znamirovsky has 3. But while that is happening, Drake is trying to have another go on Bill Bass as he has DRS. But you can see here, you can see here that Bill Bass is running a really low downforce setup as he is defending the inside line again. He locks up a lot, Drake trying to do another switch back, but doesn't get the best exit possible. So Bill Bass is gonna stay in P1. He does have 25% ERS, Drake has 40. So he does have a lot more to attack with, as Bill Bass is still defending the inside line. Let's see.
Drake's forced Iron to use a fair amount of battery on the last lap. And we're gonna have another switch back in turn 1. Drake's going for this same move again. And this time he gets a full car length ahead, so Iron's not going to be able to dive into the apex of turn 2. But we'll have to see if he can live with Drake here over this next lap and maybe come back with the DRS. He's running a lot less. He's running a lot lower downforce. Drake couldn't really attack with DRS, so he's going to be a sitting duck if Iron's got it. But these two, even while this has been happening, they've managed to pull away another 1.5 seconds back to Nathan. So the gap now 5.5 seconds for these two at the front. They're going to be looking to not get caught by anyone behind them as they duel for the top 2 positions. And Tuka has managed now to overtake Mateusz Jelinek on the exit of turn 4. That's how much grip those tyres have got.
Jelinek spun.
Not an overtaking place.
Yeah, Jelinek lost control and nearly crashed into the wall.
I missed that. I just thought Tuka was now in front. Thought he just dragged him out of turn 4, which would have been a bit ridiculous.
But yeah,
he's coming up behind his teammate now, I think. Oh no, not quite. Apologies.
He's
just 2.5 seconds back from Patrick. So he's going to be looking to close that gap and get even more points. He's got 5 laps to do it, see where he can get to. As Drake's managed to hold Iron off down the DRS straight into 14 and has a gap about 7 tenths now. But goes very tight through turn 16. Lucky not to catch that sausage curb and maybe get a bit yeeted into the wall. But he keeps P1, 8 tenths the gap. So he's going to be looking just to push on from the end and protect himself from Iron. Doesn't want to keep Iron in that DRS range for too long, because that AlphaTauri is a bit of a rocket in a straight line.
The only problem with Tuka's strategy, like we saw in PC2, the softs wear out quite a lot, around 10% each lap, or maybe a little bit lower, like 7 or 8, but they do drop off very, very quickly. So even though you're gonna gain a lot of time, probably all of your pit stop time in 4 laps, you're gonna start to lose or equal the time of your competitors. Tuka does have the advantage of people ahead of him having 20 lap old mediums and hards, so that is giving him a little bit of an advantage, but that still doesn't but the fact still remains that softs are gonna be dead at the end of the race, and he's not gonna be able to regain as much time as he could when he got those tires in the first place. But he is currently in the DRS zone of Patrick Dougal, Drake's teammate in the Red Bull. Let's see if he can make this move stick, but Patrick has way more ERS, so I think we will see this move happening probably next lap, as Kamil Strutzig goes around the inside of Jelinek with better softs as well, so he is doing the
Kamil's closing in on Tuka. Kamil's actually lapping faster at the moment.
That is
As Tuka,
really good.
unable to make a move on Patrick, but Patrick didn't even really have to spend any of his ERS, so he must just be running less downforce. Or Tuka's more interested in getting this move here into turn 1. He deploys a little bit of battery, but he doesn't really have any to play with. And he's not going to be close enough, unfortunately, so he's not going to be able to make that move, as we've got another yellow flag. I think it's Mateusz Gola getting out of somebody's way.
I don't know.
Oh no, Mateusz must have had a problem because he's lost a place. So Mateusz must have had either a spin or a half spin, as he's lost a place to Luke, so that drops him to P15. He has put brand new softs on, so he's going to be going for that fast lap. As he gets out of the way of Drake. It's good to see the drivers get out, as I said before, not fighting too hard. And
this fight with Tuka.
Martin Horrock right on the back of Iron Bilbao, so he's going to have DRS here as he's trying to go for a fastest lap, I think. And Mateusz Gola gets out of Iron's way, and Martin manages to steal the place, so that's a bit opportunistic from the Aston Martin driver. And he's going to have the DRS here, and he's going to pull alongside the Iron, so... But he's going for a fastest lap, so I think it's kind of okay.
Tuka is right on the back of Patrick right now. He has saved a little bit more ERS and is just to get the DRS. Let's see if he can probably make a move into turn 14, the hairpin.
He's going to get there just...
Patrick doesn't defend.
Just go later on the brakes with those tyres. Runs it a little late, a little deep, just squeezes Patrick out, and Patrick almost loses it on exit as he tries to make the cutback. And that is going to give Tuka 7th place. Now has 4 seconds to gain up to Lucas Turkson up in P6.
But they're
18 lap old medium, so they're going to start falling off a cliff.
I don't think that he can catch up to Lucas, as there is 2 laps remaining in the race. So yeah.
I lost 2 seconds on the last lap on my medium tyres yesterday because they fell off a cliff at about 19 laps old. So it's possible, but he's going to need Lucas's tyres to do the same.
maybe we can see some people having punctures as Jonathan Foss, the other AlphaTauri, goes into the pit lane, probably for softs as well. He might steal
he's
the
going
fastest
to
lap.
be looking for fastest lap, these guys. The interesting thing with the Ero point system, you do get a fast point for fastest lap, irrespective of where you finish, as long as you finish.
I think that's a good. That's a
like
good,
it. It
yeah.
means that the guy, because obviously everybody's in equal cars and everybody's roughly as quick as each other. So it just means the guys that have had problems in the race with spins or contact, it means that they can just fight for something. They've got something to aim for, even if they're not going to manage to get into the points. As the front guys have all sort of spread themselves now. So Patrick's managed to almost stick within the DRS range of Tuka, but he's just fallen out of it just before they got to the line, unfortunately. Tuka's gained a second on Lucas Dirksen. We've got a yellow flag. It's
Pavlakovic.
Alfa Romeo, so that's Quill. He's spun on the exit of the first nail section. It is a tricky place. Obviously, all these guys driving with no traction control. And he loses a place to Luke. So Luke's taking advantage of everyone having issues. Just about managing to stay on the lead lap, stay ahead of Drake. He did say that was his aim for today, to not get lapped, so he's going to have to get a wriggle on. As Drake's hair him.
He does have a little bit fresher tires, but I don't think there's anything that he can do to not get lapped. As Pavlakovic spins again.
Until he gets blue flags, he's all good.
Pavlakovic spins again. Luke Mills is sweeping all over the track. That's an interesting strategy, but Jake.
I think he's watching the stream and he heard us.
And Jake will still get the DRS as Luke Mills spins. Oh, there goes all of his hopes for today's race. That's a shame.
And lapped, and he's gonna come under pressure here from Mateus Gola. Yeah, Mateus gets the place back, and he's gonna have DRS as he's going for the fastest lap, right up behind Nathan.
Luke's his teammate as he's swerving all
Nathan
over the track
and weaving around. Knock it off, Mateus.
I mean, he's taking the advantage of the ghost.
Yeah, but then weaving across the front of one of the leaders, that's not good. That's not cool.
Yeah, that's not good. But
you can unlap yourself, especially if you're going for a fastest lap. Don't weave around in front of the leaders. That's just gonna cause possible problems.
But speaking about the leaders, Nathan Powers is currently having a really good race for Alpine.
Yeah.
They have had very bad luck in the first two races in USA and Brazil, as Horak actually retires from the race.
So he's binned it, unfortunately, out of turn 4.
And we have another spin.
And Quill's off again at turn 1. So not a good race for Quill so far. As Drake is just finishing up sector 2.
And this is the final
8-second
lap.
lead over Iron, so Iron's tyres have fully fallen off that cliff. And Nathan's have as well. So Nathan's going to have to hope he can keep this 2.5 second gap back to Jacob, who's on those hard tyres that have done since about lap 4. But they're hard tyres, so they'll be fine.
The problem that Nathan has is his 8-second time penalty, so if that gets...
the 5 might get removed,
maybe,
but the 3 is going to cost him a place to Jacob. But Jacob also has 3, so it's not going to cost him anything as long as he gets those 5 removed. Which is possible, because it was probably for contact under safety car. So it depends whose fault it was, who was behind.
As Drake is just coming out to the final corner of the race, and he wins the Chinese Grand Prix, the 3rd win in a row. Congratulations to the Red Bull driver, he takes 25 points today. Bill Bass follows him right behind to take 2nd place, his 2nd podium of the season. And Nathan Power, we have a crash actually, as Nathan Power crosses the finish line. As he goes to the finish line, finishes
gets P4 on penalties, but he's going to be looking to possibly get that 5 seconds removed, which would promote him back onto the podium, back ahead of Jacob. He did manage to keep P4 on the road though. Merrick also had 3 seconds of penalties, so that 5 seconds wasn't enough to promote him above him.
We have another
Lucas Dirksen takes P6 for Alfa Romeo, which is really good. And the second Red Bull curse doesn't continue all that much.
20-second time
gets a
penalty.
20-second time penalty?
That's gonna get removed, and Znamirovski as well.
Wow. I feel like they're gonna get removed.
Oh, definitely.
That seems like a game bug.
At least that was caught on camera, so they can move.
Yeah,
that
Cody's
probably.
caught in 4K.
Cody's what the? If I mean you have EA budget, why don't you make good game?
Imagine.
Like they have so much money from EA, and they do not take any of it to make a good game.
Well, I mean, they'd already made the game before EA bought them.
And
so
Pavlakovic
hopefully
is
it'll
doing
be better
donuts.
for next game.
Pavlakovic is doing donuts.
And we get
in
new
the middle of the
cars!
track.
Woo, new cars!
Quill is doing
And yeah, and we get
good
Miami
donuts.
too. Miami's cool.
Yes.
So yeah, so Camel takes P7 with the alternate strategy. So that probably a bit too long on the hards. But it gets P7, managed to make some places back up on the softs. Matej Jelinek from Mercedes is P8. Took those hards 27 laps. He put on lap 1 and took the hards the whole way. They're pretty sturdy.
As Pavlakovic was doing donuts and crashes into the ball. And Jake Dempsey is of course driver of the day, starting from P19 to P1 again, just like in Brazil. So you cannot stop this guy from winning every race.
Put me in PC1, I'll stop him.
Yes.
With the help of a wall, but I'll stop him.
So third win in a row, that will put him in 72 points, I think. So
well, no, because 3 wins is 75.
But he does have
And
2
he also
bonus
had
points.
pole and I think fastest lap on the first race, so that would be 77.
77 points, what? Oh yeah.
3 wins is 75,
Yeah.
how come we all 72?
Yeah.
Oh, honestly. See what I have to work with?
So that's why I got a D in math. Okay. So Drake Dempsey wins today's race. So Drake Dempsey wins today's race. Bill Bass follows him right behind, and Mikkelsen finishes on the final spot on the podium. You can continue while I get the race director.
Yeah, I'm getting the race director just to take a screenshot of those 2 20-second time penalties at the end.
So Nathan Powers is P4, really good race for Alpine. Lucas Dirksen P5, Patrick Dugal P6, Strutzig P7, Jelinek P8, LOL P9, Znamdrovski P10, Karakola P11, Foss P12, Gola P13, Mills P14, Pavlakovic P15, Horak P16, Jurgel P17, Par P18, Kinneville P19. Yes! I managed to do it in time. In time.
Good job Freddy didn't turn up, otherwise you'd have had no chance.
I stutter, but I don't. That's the strategy. So yeah, really interesting race. Like we said, third win in a row for Drake Dempsey. Very good race for him. I guess we'll just have to wait and see if he can do that in Austria as well. But yeah, this was a very, very interesting race indeed. I hope that you have enjoyed today's commentary and the race. Do you have anything else to say before we round things up?
Oh, well, those penalties were at the end, so we'll have to get rid of those.
No problem. Yeah, they will get removed.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. Yeah, that was good. It was China.
Yeah, China.
I'm not sure it was as good as yesterday. Yesterday was pretty nuts.
Yesterday was carnage, but not so much as PC3. So yeah.
I didn't see PC3. I was out, but I understand it was pretty crazy.
Oh my god! I just looked at the description of the stream, and it says commentators only me. Oh my god, that's not good.
The shade.
Anyways, before we end things off, I would just like to say thank you for watching today's commentary and the race. Leave a like if you have enjoyed it and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us out. Thank you for our partners, both the Mania Race Inside, Discord, JR Designs, and Grid Finder. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and that's it. Yeah. And you can also donate if you want. Everything is in the description. If you have enjoyed today's race and you want to race with us, there is a link in the description for our Discord. We are currently looking for reserves in PS and PC tiers. We have 5 PS and 3 PC tiers, and you can join wherever you want. It is assist based, so whatever assist you used, you will end up in that tier.
And pace.
And pace,
both.
yeah.
But yes. PC2 and PC3 both have very minimal assist restrictions. Things like no pit assist, no DRS assist, only corner line on your racing line, etc. Whereas PC1 obviously have nothing. You can have corner line, and that's it. So you have to use manual gears, no traction, no ABS, etc. But there is some guys that run those assists in PC2 and PC3 that don't quite have the pace for PC1. So it sort of mingles itself in. The assist restrictions only stop you going up, not down.
Yes.
So we're not going to be placing you in PC1 if you use no assist, but you're a mobile chicane. Don't worry. We'll be putting you with people that you are similar pace to.
Of course.
But hopefully not PC2, because we already have 4,000 reserves.
Yeah, way too much.
Well, I think we could fill another grid.
At least it's better than last season, where we had 15 people racing only, and no reserves. So PC4 will probably be a thing in season 8.
I'd imagine so. If people stick around, if we gain people at the rate we're doing currently, and people stick around, yeah. And there's also a bunch of people that left last season because of the state of the game, which might come back for 2022 if it's better. So yeah, we definitely could be looking at PC4, possibly even PC5, which would be interesting. That'd be cool.
I just hope that Cody's makes a good game. I really hope that. Because this is becoming a bit annoying that they have all of EA's money, or EA is giving them money because they're a part of the same company now, because EA bought them, blah blah blah, and they cannot fix any bugs in this game. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, they said they'd pushed a patch, was it last week or the week before, to improve the stability, but obviously I DC'd on the formation lap yesterday, I DC'd at the end of quali today, so it's not perfect.
So yeah, I hope they fix all the issues in the next game, and maybe we might see something new, like a different format of the games. Because of the new era of Formula 1, maybe Cody's wants to do something else as well. Like they did in 2015, they redid everything, and we've had let's say timeline for 7 years now, from 2015 to 2021. So maybe they are going to make things a little bit more different, but I think everything might just stay the same because Cody's are lazy. If they cannot fix bugs, then we should not expect anything good happening.
We'll see.
But yeah, if that is everything, we are going to round it off right here. Is it everything? Yeah? Okay. Okay then. So, we hope that you have enjoyed today's commentary and race. My name is Kikrlin, or Dino, and with me commentating was Adam Lipage. And we will see you next weekend for Austria. I hope you join us there, and stay safe.